Hey there, boys and girls. So we're starting a new module, Module 2, which is fractions division, or division of fractions, or division with fractions. So the first lesson we're going to work with is fraction division with whole numbers. So you're either going to have a whole number divided by a fraction, or a fraction divided by a whole number. So let's take a look at first a division of a fraction divided by a whole number. So you have to remember that division problems have two parts. So when it's written horizontally like this, the first number is your dividend. That's what you have. That's what you are your starting point of what you have. And the second number in your division problem is your divisor. And that's kind of like how you're breaking it apart. So when you're dividing a fraction by a whole number, the question you should be asking yourself is, if I have 3/4, how many would be in each group of 2? So you're creating 2 equal groups. So here are some steps we're going to follow. So the first step will be to model what you have. That's your dividend. What do you have? Well, you got 2 ways to do that. We have a bar model, and we have a number line. And the number line we've done with our spiral review, but a bar model is another way that you can do that. So you start with what you have. So I have written a bar here, and I have 3 out of 4 shaded in, 3/4. And on my number line, I have modeled it from 0 to 1 and broken my number line into 4 equal sections, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and 1, and put a dot at 3/4 because that's what I have. And then the second step, you're going to, there's lots of things going on here. For the second step, you're going to cut each piece into the number of pieces you need. So we need to have 2 equal groups. That's your divisor. So if your whole number is a divisor, you got to ask yourself how many are in each group. So you have 3/4, you got to split them between 2 people. So if you have 3/4 of a pizza left, and you and your sibling are sitting down, or you and your best friend are sitting down to eat, how many pieces of that, or what fraction of that 3/4 of the pizza left will each of you get if you want to split them equally? You don't want somebody getting more than you if you're really, really hungry. So here I've modeled that. So here is the bar model, and we see originally we have the 3 of the 4, and what I've done is I split each of those pieces in half. When I did that, if you notice, I've created 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 equal groups. And in each of those groups, there will be 3 of the 8 will go to one friend, and 3 of the 8 will go to the other friend. So each friend gets 3/8 of the pizza, okay? For me, the number line is a lot easier for me to see than the bar model. That's just my brain just works better that way. But here I have split each of my 4ths into 2 equal pieces, which makes it 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, and 6/8. By doing that, I say, well, how many of those would create 2 equal groups? As you can see, 1/8, or I would need 3/8 in one equal group, and another 3/8 in the second equal group. So each group gets 3/8. So as you can see here, you're trying to make 2 full equal groups. And there are 3/8 in each of those equal groups. And here I have applied the algorithm, which is the keep it, change it, flip it, which I'm going to be talking about. We're going to be modeling it, and we're also going to do the math. Because you're going to have to need to know, understand both of those for this unit, for this module 2. So I have keep it, change it, flip it. So you keep the first, you keep the dividend the same. The dividend always stays the same, okay? You're going to change your operation, so you're going to use the inverse, okay? And you're going to flip your fraction. So if your fraction was 2, remember you can always give a whole number a denominator of 1. And when you flip it, it's going to, the 1 that was the denominator becomes the numerator. Okay, and the 2 that was the numerator becomes the denominator. So we have 3/4 times 1/2. We also, another word that we use that I'm going to start using as we move along in this module is reciprocal. So when you are dividing fractions, what you're going to do is you're going to divide your dividend, okay? When you divide, you're going to multiply that dividend by the reciprocal. And the reciprocal of any fraction is it's flipped on end. So that's the reciprocal. So a reciprocal of 2 is 1/2. Anyway, so 3/4 times 1/2, you multiply your two numerators, you get 3. Multiply your two denominators, you get 8. And the answer is 3/8. So we can see how you can model it and how you can use the algorithm of keep it, change it, flip it, or multiplying a dividend by the reciprocal. Okay. All right. So here's one where now you have a whole number and you're dividing it by a fraction. So here you're asking, you have 5 and you're dividing it by a half, and you're asking yourself how many half-size pieces are in 5. So if you have 5 cookies or you have 5 pizzas, that's a lot of pizzas, how many halves do you have? Okay? So it looks a little bit differently when your whole number is the dividend. So here we have our bar model and we have our number line here. So when you have your bar model, you're gonna model your whole number first. As you can see, it's probably hard to tell, but here is 1, here is 2, here is 3, here is 4, and here is 5. And I've kind of like modeled that with the numbers down here. So from here to here is 5 full pieces. From here to here is 1 size piece. And then I have cut each of those pieces into half-size pieces. And I end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 half-size pieces. I did the same thing with the number line. You always model your first one. So you put your 5 on your number line. And then I cut each of my holes. I cut 1 in half. So I got half, 1, half, 1 1/2, 2, 2 1/2, 3, 3 1/2, 4, 4 1/2, 5. And then I just said, well, how many half-size jumps can I make? I made 10 half-size jumps. And then of course, we have our keep it, change it, flip it. So you take your dividend and you multiply it by the reciprocal of the divisor. So if your divisor was 1/2, you would flip it and that becomes the reciprocal, which is 2/1, which when your denominator is 1, it's really just 2. There's a whole number. So I multiplied 5 times 2 and I got 10. So, and that is it for multiplying fraction division with whole numbers. So your whole number can be your dividend or whole number can be your divisor, and how it looks when you model it. So we'll do more practice in class.